Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Storm and today we are going to learn CSS. Now what is CSS? CSS is essentially the design of a web page, right? Let's look at W3 Schools for now, just to get an idea for the design. Notice that there's an icon here. When I hover over these buttons, they actually they turn green to show that I'm selecting them. When I click on it, it changes to another page. When I go to, all of these things, when I hover here, I can go, I can click on dark mode. All of this stuff, this is the design, the background color, the font itself. This is all the design of the web page, right? If this was just strictly HTML, it would just look like all the pages we've created so far. So what we want to do is we actually want to learn how to design our web pages. I'm going to go to the Learn CSS tutorial so I can show you where to get information if you're kind of stuck a little bit. So let's take a look at what CSS looks like. This is some example CSS code. Notice that it does not look like HTML. It doesn't use the angle brackets to start an element. There are no such thing as CSS elements. It just indicates elements by their name. So this is assigning something to the body element. And specifically, it's assigning what's called the background color to the body element. And the background color that it's going to apply is light blue. So if we were to click Try It Yourself, we would see that the page that this produces is going to be light blue in color. And we can see that that's the case, right? We have changed the style of the body to be light blue. Look at this next example, H1. Notice that we have an H1 right here. We're going to change the color of the H1 so that it's white, and then we're going to change the alignment of the text so that it's center aligned on the page. So if you just look at the CSS code the way it's written, it's pretty easy to see what each of these things are doing, right? Let's look at this paragraph element here. The font family is Verdana, so we've changed the font itself, so it's no longer the Times New Roman, which is by default. We've changed it to this sans serif font called Verdana, whatever it's called. And then we're changing the size of the font to 20 pixels, making it a little bit bigger than a normal paragraph. Now this style, all of the CSS code is within something called a style element within the head of the HTML page. So inside the head, we have a style element, and inside the style element, we have our CSS code. Now, when it's written like this, it will apply to every single H1 or every single paragraph on this page. So if I was to create another paragraph, then it will apply to that new paragraph as well, right? And if I were to create another H1, then the H1 style will apply to that new H1 as well, right? So that's a really, really handy way to design our web pages. Let's look at an example, or let's actually create an example together. I'm going to create an HTML, CSS, and JavaScript page. I'm going to call it quotes. Quotes. And let's see. Let's get rid of the JavaScript file because we do not need that. We're not doing any JavaScript. And you might be thinking, hey, why don't we just write all of our CSS code in this style.css page because it's already there and it's ready for us. And there's a link to it right here, so it should work. We could do that, but we're not going to. The reason why is because I think it's a lot easier when we don't have to flip back and forth between different pages to make changes. I think if we just put it all right here in the head section, then we'll be good to go and we won't have to worry about swapping back and forth. Just makes it a tad easier. Now, when you get into more advanced web development projects, we won't do any of that in this class. But if you take my web development classes, we will use external style sheets to style our web pages. Okay, so let's just go ahead and put some stuff on this page. I'm going to create a header, and I'm going to say Star Wars quotes. Okay. and I will have a paragraph element with a Star Wars quote. Let's actually Star Wars quotes. I'm just going to grab some quotes really quickly. 73 iconic Star Wars quote. Rebellions are built on hope. Okay, good. That's a good one. Rebellions are built on hope. And below that, I'm going to put a paragraph element where we say Jyn Erso. I forgot how to spell her. They're not going to tell us, but I think it's Erso, just like that. So we have one quote there. Rebellions are built on hope, Jyn Erso. Let's put another 2 or 3 on here just for fun. The ability to speak does not make you intelligent, from Qui-Gon Jinn. That's a good one. Ability to speak does not make one intelligent. I believe that's does not make you intelligent. Whatever. You. I want to quote the man correctly, right? He was a Jedi Master. Qui-Gon Jinn. Okay. I forgot the hyphen between Qui and Gon. And now that I have the hyphen there, then maybe this hyphen to start the quote is going to look weird, but no, it looks fine. All right. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. So this element right here, this BR element, that puts a nice little break in between the paragraph lines, the paragraph text, so that we have some space between them. Okay. And then one more quote. Try not, do or do not, there is no try. That's pretty easy, right? And I'm actually just going to copy it. Okay. And this comes from your boy Yoda. All right. So now we have 3 quotes from Star Wars on our page, but it looks really boring, obviously, right? So the goal of this project is to just play around with some CSS code to see if we can make this look a little bit more interesting. I'm going to create a style section here. And let's see. First thing, let's change the background color. So I'm going to actually change the background color of the entire body. So we'll say body. Oh, body. Now we use these French brackets to put some stuff in between. So whenever we're assigning something to the body, we'll use the French brackets to wrap the code that we're going to apply to the body, right? So background hyphen color, and I'm going to make it black. Okay. Uh-oh, what happened to my web page? Well, I changed the background color, but I did not change the text color. So what I can do is I could say color equals white. Oh, white to get all my text back. But I actually want my my header to be that Star Wars yellow. So I can actually just overwrite that code by saying h1 color yellow. So now I have yellow Star Wars quotes at the top, and then I have individual stuff here. Okay, perfect. Now let's see. What else should we do? Well, let's change the background color of... Oh, you know what we could do? We're going to do something a little bit more advanced. Not really advanced. We're going to create something new. A new element that we haven't talked about yet called a div. Divs are essentially containers. These containers will hold specific HTML elements for us and will easily allow us to apply some code to style those divs in a certain way. So for example, let's do this. I'm going to style my divs so that they have a background hyphen color of, this is probably a good idea to get into colors. Over here in W3 Schools, there's a color picker that we can play around with, and we can find good colors that we really like. I want a dark blue, but even darker than that. Let's go this direction. So if we grab that, we can actually look at what's called the RGB value, red, green, blue value, the HSL value, or my preferred, which is the hex code. So I'm just going to copy the hex code, come back over here, and apply it. Now watch what happens to my first quote up here. Now it has a different background, which is really nice. I actually like that background. But notice that the text is really close to the edges here. So I'm going to apply what's called padding. The padding is going to be basically a little bit of buffer inside the boundary, inside the border of this, and make it kind of like, give it some room, give it some breathing room. So now we have some padding, which is nice. That looks really cool. The other thing is, maybe I don't want my div to go all the way across the page. Maybe I only want it to go, I don't know, width. Let's say I want it to be 60% of the page. Then when I run it, notice that it's much shorter, right? It's much, much shorter. Okay. And maybe I want my text to be aligned in the center. So text, align, center. Well, now that looks pretty good. Let's say I want to give it a nice yellow border. Border, 2 pixels, solid border, and we'll make it yellow. Well, now that looks really good. So the nice thing is, I can keep applying styles to this div to really make it look the way I want it to. Yeah, and then anything that's inside of a div will have that same style. So I can just say div, I'll put all my quotes inside of these divs or inside of a div so that they all use this same style code. Perfect. Let's grab that, put that in there, and okay. So now when I run it, now I have my quotes. They're all center aligned. They all look nice. They're in that background. And we've applied some really cool style with just a few short things. Now from here, there's all kinds of things I can do. Let's say I want the text to be just a little bit bigger. I can say, I don't know, I want to change all my paragraph elements to be size is, I don't know, 150%. That didn't do anything. Now, I wonder why. Let's go back and look at W3 Schools. Where was that example that we looked at before? Oh, this is colors. I've jumped over into colors. Because I didn't use font hyphen size, right? So if something's not working, make sure you go check your reference. Check W3 Schools to see if you forgot something, right? Let's see. And then all this stuff here, all the stuff that I just typed that I didn't actually teach you about, this is stuff that is going to be on W3 Schools that you can find. You can follow along with what I've done and, you know, make some new quotes, obviously. Don't just make Star Wars quotes. I actually want to change the font family. Let's do that too. Let's change. I wonder if there's a cool Star Wars font. Let's go to fonts. So CSS fonts. And let's see. If we scroll down, oh, you know what? There's a Google font thing here. How to use Google Fonts. All we have to do is copy this into our style sheet or into our styles section. Oh, hold on. Does it go in the style? Let me check. Get rid of me. Get rid of there. It goes above it goes inside the header, but not in the style. That's what I thought. Okay. So Google Fonts has a ton of fonts that we can use that are kind of different from what you normally would see. Let me see. Where's the list of all the Google fonts? Where are they? Where is the list? Let's see. All right. How to use Google Fonts. Yeah. Ah, here we go. So this is the whole list of Google Fonts that we can use. It's kind of insane, actually. It's such a big list that my website is slowing down because it's still trying to load everything. Oh, come on. Now it's frozen altogether. Okay, there we go. Now we're there. I want to see if there's a Star Wars or Star related one. It's probably not going to be like Star Wars specifically, but maybe something that kind of looks Star Wars-ish. I'm not seeing one. Syncopate is a good one, by the way. I really like that one. Let's find... let's see. That's not really what I'm looking for, but it'll show. This is a good enough example. So if I go to my H1 and I change my font family to, what was that called? Oh, unlock. Because I've linked to the style sheet, the Google Font style sheet, when I run this, it didn't do anything. Let me scroll up and see what happened there. Do I need to put it in quotes? All right, let's put it in quotes. That might be what happened. Oh. All right, now let's run it. And it's still not working. Interesting. Oh, I see what happened. I linked to the font family the wrong font. That's what happened. So in the link, you also need to change the font family to the name of the family that you want to bring in. So anyway, so that's an extra thing. You don't have to worry about Google Fonts. It's just something that you can play around with if you really want to. But yeah, you can link to Google. So anyway, that's about it. I just want you to create a website with 3 different quotes on it and style that website in a way that makes sense for the quotes you're using. All right, cool. That's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. I will see you guys next time. Bye.